The NCAA tournament is in full swing, and we have another locked on bracket breakdown as the number 11 seed Arizona State falls to 6 seed TCU Horned Frogs 72-70 in an electric game on Friday night. I'm Isaac Shade, and we are joined now by the host of Locked On Sun Devils, Richie Bradshaw. And Richie, as we said, what a fun and entertaining game, especially down the stretch this was. But unfortunately, the Sun Devils could not hold on to that lead, and TCU comes back to win. What happened down the stretch?
Yeah, it was a tough, hard-fought game. The Sun Devils played a really good game. They just, unfortunately, in the second half, the things that were going well in the first half didn't translate. They were turning the ball over. They weren't able to score points when they needed to. They put TCU on the line a lot. And when those things all culminate together at the same time and add up against you, you just aren't able to win too many basketball games. And ASU had really led this game for the vast majority of the outing. It just, unfortunately, they could not close the door on TCU. They let their gas off the pedal, so to speak, and they definitely got a little tired down the stretch. But they fought. They didn't give up until basically the game was over. And even then, I don't think giving up is the right way to word it.
Yeah.
Tough game. They just weren't able to get that W.
One of the great things that we saw tonight was Bobby Hurley's team had a really balanced scoring attack. 7 different players had at least 5 points, and all 9 players who entered the game scored at least 3. What was it that led to that balanced ability, and what did you see from the bench?
Bobby Hurley did a really good job incorporating his bench in this game. And ASU is really seeing the same 5 starters for 95% of the games this year. But the one thing Bobby has done very well is getting guys opportunities, even if it's just a handful of minutes. But in this game, he really was able to get the most out of just about everybody that entered the game. Luther Muhammad had a really good game shooting. Alonzo Gaffney had 7 rebounds for the team. And he truly felt like he might have had his best complete game of the year. Duke Brennan and Jemiah Neal played very good. Jemiah Neal especially looks like a future superstar for the Sun Devils. But the way that Hurley was able to get guys on the court and get them to contribute, no matter how many minutes they played, like, they really did get just about everything that they possibly could out of everybody that stepped onto the court at some point during the game.
Now, DJ Horn had a great night, 17 points to lead that balanced scoring attack, a very efficient shooting night from the field. What have you seen from him this season, and what did you see from him tonight?
DJ Horn is incredibly difficult to stop when he's on. He can be an absolutely lights out, deadly shooter and a borderline sniper from deep when he is feeling himself. And that was no different in this game. He was 4 of 5 shooting from deep, including the one that we thought was going to send this game to overtime when it mattered most. He said, "I'm him. I'm that guy. I got that dog in me." DJ Horn is getting ready to assert himself into superstar status for the Sun Devils. If he can take that next step and just be consistent on a game-to-game basis, like I said, he's as difficult a guy to stop as there is for anybody on the Sun Devils team.
One of the most fun storylines in all of college basketball this year has been watching the Cambridge brothers play together. How much fun has that been, and what was it like to see this final outing together?
You know, you just wish that you could have gotten another game or 2 or 3 or 4 out of them, because they were so much fun together. And not only those two, but they were really good friends with Warren Washington. All 3 of them were playing pickup ball over the summer, and all 3 of them had decided to transfer to Arizona State together. But the Cambridge brothers especially were just such a fun storyline, like you said. And Desmond became such a dynamic shooter, although in some instances, maybe sometimes don't shoot as soon as you think you're open. The shot selection not always there. Devin, a very electric playmaker in more ways than one. He can shoot, he can defend, he can rebound. He does a little bit of everything. When you had both of them on the court together, more often than not, you were getting really good results out of them. So very fun to see them. It's bittersweet that it's the last time that we got to see them. But for one season, we got to enjoy them. And obviously, as every college basketball fan knows, we're not going to forget about Desmond Cambridge's junior shot against U of A anytime soon.
No, we will not. And Richie, as you've done just a little reflecting there, I mean, as we start to look ahead towards next season, one of the great things, this dismantling, I'll call it, of Nevada a couple nights ago in the play-in game, what kind of hope does that give you leading into next season? What are you looking for in this offseason?
There's a lot that I'm looking forward to for the Sun Devils, and it feels like you don't get to say that about this basketball team very much, but the future seems very bright. Frankie Collins, if he can become a more consistent like point scorer, he's a great distributor. He's a great defender. He's a really good like guy who runs the court. DJ Horn, if he can be consistent on a game-to-game basis, can be an incredibly deadly shooter. Those two coming back as starters. You also bring in Jemiah Neal, who I mentioned earlier, who really does look amazing. I am so beyond excited for him. I want to be the president of his fan club if there isn't one already. Austin Nunez missed the last month of the year with a concussion. He wasn't able to play in this game. When he's back on the court, he's a dynamite deep shooter as well. They've got some big guys like Duke Brennan and Ninak Bache. There's a lot of young, intriguing talent that will be returning. For what it's worth, Devin Cambridge apparently can return, but will he return because he got to play his final year with his brother? I don't know. I'm just saying he can come back, and I would have no issues with it. But the future, for once, looks bright for Arizona State Sun Devils basketball.
Well, we will certainly wait to see if Dev Cambridge comes back, and we'll find out more about the Sun Devils this offseason. For more on that and other news about the Arizona State Sun Devils, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Sun Devils. And for a full view of the bracket and all the college basketball action, subscribe to Locked On College Basketball. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.